Hello, lovely people. It's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. I am being prolific this week. That's what happens when I don't have to work. It's been a lovely, relaxing week. It took a few days, but I'm finally sleeping well again. A low-stress lifestyle is definitely a good thing. Let me see. Yesterday, I had a little play with a different kind of drawstring bag. So I got some footage of that, which you will see in a bit. And I have done a bit of mending for Mr. Stitches. His headphones, his over-the-ear headphones, were starting to degrade, and there were little bits of black plastic sticking to his head after he took them off. He doesn't have any hair, so, rests against his skin. It was funny because one side was perfectly fine, the other side was falling to pieces. He said, "What can you do with this?" And I thought, okay, I'll probably just get a bit of fabric and run some elastic around it or something. In the end, I just used thread. And then I don't think I showed this in the footage that you're going to see later, but I did add some Fabri-Tac to actually glue it to the existing spongy stuff. And he seemed happy with that. Now, I know he said he wasn't very effusive about his drawstring bag and book sleeve and bookmark and Body Shop product gift that I gave him for his birthday the other day, but he's actually quietly loving it. He said, "I'm going to have to find something special to use that drawstring bag for. I don't want to just stick it in a cupboard and not use it for something." So that's good. And he also asked me to make him some extra bookmarks. And he's using the olive body lotion stuff that I gave him. And he's tested out the shower gel as well from Body Shop. So that is fantastic. Guess that was a success. So I just made 3 more bookmarks, and I told him, I said, if you want more bookmarks, I'm not going to cut the pieces out of big pieces of batik. I said, I'll go through the batik collection and I'll find the smallest bits and see what scraps I can use up first, because each one uses 3 4-inch squares, which is only small pieces. So what I ended up doing is deliberately cutting 9 completely different batiks and making 3 more bookmarks. Can't talk. So here's the first one. We've got a greeny coloured one here with a purple batik on that side and a pretty purpley one on that side. And then this one is a flowery one with green underneath. I think that's the dragonfly one. Yeah, there's dragonflies on that. And then the back is a fish. As I say, totally random. And then this one has a beautiful orange with a snowflake one on the front and just a rather lovely blue on the back. So 3 more bookmarks. As I said to him when I gave it to him, I said, if you want extra of those, they only take 10 minutes to make. So today he mentioned that, seeing he's got so many books from the library, that he might need more. The reason he has quite the collection of library books is that we popped in at the big library today, which we don't normally go to, because we were that way, because he was taking his car in for an oil change anyway. And so while we were over the bridge, we popped in at the library, and they close for like 2 weeks over Christmas, so you have to stock up, right? We went to the library, we went on a really good hike. I've got some footage of that for the vlog. And we went for a cup of tea. And then I dropped him back to get his car, and then we came home. So that was the morning, basically. So after a little bit of knitting time, I came down here and did that little bit of sewing. And I have been able to also take this off my whiteboard the dishcloth, the whip right here, because I've been carrying around some of this self-dyed yarn for ages. It's Drops Paris, I think, and I dyed it with Rit a long, long time ago, and I've made a couple of dishcloths with it. Not a very exciting project, but very useful. This is the second dishcloth, and the stitch pattern I used was alternating single crochet and double crochet, and then on the next row you work the SCs into the DCs and the DCs into the SCs, and it makes a really lovely texture. So all I have to do with that now is toss it in the laundry, and it will go into the rotation for my kitchen. So I'm considering that Ravelry project page finished and that post-it note off the board, because I didn't want it in my head anymore. You know what that's like, right? You don't want it in your head anymore. I'm really excited about the Vested Interest Knitted Vest by Drops Design. I am absolutely loving it. I have got to the point now where I did the back panel up to the shoulders, the front panel up to the shoulders. This morning at the coffee shop, I joined the shoulders and I started picking up stitches around the neck. I have not done the armholes yet, so it still looks a bit odd. But the colours on this have worked out really well. I was really concerned about how the colour changing yarn or self-striping yarn was going to mess me around when I was making this. So this was the back I did first, and the colours went perfectly up to there, and then there was a little blip just here, but it doesn't look wrong or anything. It's just a narrow stripe, and then I got lots and lots of red up the back. And then on the front, of course, the lovely striping worked great until there. And then I got lots of the gingerbread here. And I did take a lot of care to make sure that the gingerbread went all the way up to the shoulders. And then I wound some off because I wanted to make sure that the neckband was pink. It's mostly pink, but look, I was binding off and the last little bit turned white. And I thought, shall I cut it and grab a bit of pink from later on in the ball? And then I thought, no, I don't want to have a knot right in the middle of the front of my neckband. So I just let it go. And then for the armholes, I'm not sure how that's going to work out at this point. But because there's a heck of a lot of gingerbread and red in this, and quite a bit of pink now, I'm thinking I should probably try and make sure to get some blue into the armholes. But I tried it on. It's so warm and comfortable. It fits quite closely, which is what I wanted. This is actually about 1 inch negative ease on me. So the measurement across the circumference just at the armholes is 38, and my bust size is 39. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Lots of ends to weave in, but aren't there always? And just 2 sets of ribbing to do. So I think I could probably get that done. What's it, Thursday today that I'm recording this? I'll be really, really ecstatic to have this finished by Sunday before I go back to work from my week off. So exciting. No, I won't wear it to work. I'll probably ruin it there. I get pretty warm at work. I usually just wear a t-shirt under my Michael's vest because otherwise I cook. And I don't wear anything that's too good either because, you know, it's a lot of physical work. Sometimes you're heaving boxes around and kneeling on the floor and, you know, pulling something heavy down from up on the mezzanine. Who wants to wear their best clothes in that situation? Not me. I want to show you what I got from the library. I'm going to turn you down and show you what I got from the library. Because this library is bigger, it has more books to see, and it also has different books that I don't normally find. It also has a way better magazine selection than the smaller one that's closer to my house. So this is the pile of books I got today. One is called Fat Quarters, Small Fabrics, More Than 50 Big Ideas by Lark Crafts. And I only had a really, really quick flick through this, but there is one thing which definitely has attracted my attention. I like this basket with the pocket in, but that wasn't what I was talking about. Hot pads, bowl covers. Oh, embroidered button covers. Oh, I like that idea. I do like that idea. Okay, let's just keep going because I want to find the thing I saw before. Oh. Mini quilts, cushion covers. We'll get there, we'll get there. Oh, lovely bag, clutch bag, tote bag. Oh, well, this is not it, but look, this is lovely. This tote bag, it looks like it has books on it. It looks like a little bookshelf. You've probably seen bookshelf quilts where the fabric is made to look like the spines of the book on a shelf. That is really cute. Again, not what I was trying to show you. We'll get there, we'll get there. Okay, that's a weird bag. It looks like a diaper. Or a nappy to you guys in the UK. I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. Isn't that fun? It's a mushroom tote bag. Now, what I'm thinking is that this maybe is some sort of flap that goes over the top of the bag, possibly. But it's got a little door and a window and some flowers and this thing that looks like a toadstool cap or a mushroom cap. I'm not absolutely sure if that goes over the top of the bag or if it's just appliqué to the front, but how cute is that? So that's a fun book. I'm going to have fun looking at that more later. This book is huge. It's called Creative Embroidery and Beyond by Jenny Bellingham, Sophie Timms and Teresa Wensing. I haven't looked at this at all yet. I thought this might give me a little bit of inspiration for my slow stitching. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? Wow. Absolutely lovely. That's a good idea. Embroidering a baseball cap. I've got a couple of plain baseball caps. I don't wear them very much. Aha! The toadstools are calling to me again. Look at that. I'll tell you, when you start to notice things, they pop up all over the place. Have you noticed that? It's like when you get a new car and you suddenly realise that 50% of the population have the same car as you. But as soon as you start noticing something, you seem to attract it, I find. Embroidering on denim. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy looking at that a lot. This magazine is not something I have got out before. It's Creative Scrapbooker, and boy, are these thick. So thick. How insane. This one is the Winter 24-25 issue, and this is the Winter 25-26 issue. And scrapbooking is not really something I do, but then when you think about it, if you're making a junk journal, or if you're doing collage, or putting together something lovely with paper and pen and other random bits, it's basically like a small version of scrapbooking, isn't it? And I thought this might also give me some inspiration. I have no idea what this is going to be like, but it's got lots of colour in it, which I love. So that's going to take me a while to look through, and then this is the newer one. I'm not going to be using photographs, well, I doubt I am. That's gorgeous. Yeah, I think there'll be lots of inspiration in there for different ways of using paper and glue and embellishments and text to make something great. And then these two are Quilting Arts magazines again, pretty chunky. And they are, let's see, can't tell. Oh, winter 2025 and fall 2025. The colour issue. Well, if anything was calling to me off the shelf, it has to be the colour issue, doesn't it? And these are absolutely lovely. I've had my eye on Quilting Arts magazines ever since my friend gave me a few of her duplicates. And I prefer, I think, more art quilts, looking at them anyway. I'm not saying I'm any good at making them because I really haven't made any. But I love to look at art quilts quite often more than I look at regular quilt patterns, if you know what I mean. I think that taking a quilt pattern that's just squares and then putting it together like somebody says in a magazine doesn't really test your creativity. But I don't know, I guess we all make it different because we use our sense of colour to make every single quilt look different, don't we? So I shouldn't be down on that. Huh, look at that hat. Isn't that lovely? Ooh, coats. Oh, look at that. It's a serpent coat. I think we often admire the things that we don't think we can do more than we admire the things we think we can do. And I know I can make a regular quilt, which is not very interesting, but some of these art ideas feel like they're out of reach for me. And so I suppose I think they're superior. I don't know. It's just a way of looking at it, isn't it? I really shouldn't. That is lovely. It's just a little zippered pouch. It's got all that layered fabric. Oh my gosh, I love that. Ooh, and I love that too. Oh, I like these little pouches. And I think a zippered pouch which has something beautiful, some beautiful fabric made for it, is so much more doable than making a massive quilt, isn't it? It feels a lot more achievable. Look at that. Amazing. Oh, what was that? I saw a fox. So I noticed that this jacket has a fox on it, but it also has a bugle, and there's a horse in the background, and that upsets me, because that just makes me think of the people, mostly in the UK, who get on a horse and hunt foxes with hounds, and the fox ends up being killed. So that just makes me want to cry. Different walk today, up a mountain. It's very mild. Really didn't need my coat. It's grey but not raining. Get a good view from here of the city. This is all new since I was last here. Seating, a little gravelled garden, some more landscaping, and this with the beautiful icons on it. I'm going to go and read the interpretation boards and see what it's all about. Indigenous artists. Inspiration. Story poles. Story poles crafted for the structure are engraved with red pictographs that depict elements of the 4 food chiefs, which are black bear, bitter root, Saskatoon berry and spring salmon. And this is the path down to the observation deck, which has been here for donkey's years. There's construction going on, which is why there's bleepers in the background. One side the city, the other side nature. It's a grey day. This morning I had a lovely time decorating my Christmas tree and putting lights all over it, and putting some lights around the deck as well on a timer so they come on for the evening. And I had lunch, and now I'm feeling a little sleepy, and I just want something relaxing and easy and not too taxing on my brain to do. So one of the things I've been wanting to try is a drawstring bag, and it was Jerry, I think, who has been watching my channel for a really long time, who sent me a link to a reel where somebody made a really easy drawstring bag. And I'm having a brain fart or something, because I cannot find my DMs on Instagram at all right now. Where the little thing at the top is, at the top right, there's a heart for people who've liked stuff, and there's no notifications icon, and I don't know, I'm struggling. I'll just wait for someone to send me another message, and then I'll find them again. Anyway, I've just been through all of my Christmas fabrics, and I found this lovely bird fabric here, robin fabric. I don't know if it's strictly a 2-way print, but I'm using it in such a way that it's sort of on its side, so all of the birds look like they're going every which way. That's going to be my outer fabric, and then this dotty fabric is going on the inside. And the reason it's so much quicker than the one I made recently is that there's no drawstring channels. There's no separate drawstring channels. They're incorporated in the bag's construction. I'm not sure what size they made theirs, but I am going with a 9" by 22" cut to start, which is 23 centimeters by 56. And I've sort of estimated that based on how I want it to finish up. There's going to be a bit of a loss of depth in the top of the bag because the drawstring channel ends up a couple of inches from the top, I think, depending on where I place it. So I'm not sure exactly what size this is going to turn out or how it's going to look, but I don't know, it'll be pretty either way. So this is a really, really straightforward thing. I've loaded my machine up with some grey thread. I did consider red thread because I thought if I top stitched it with red thread it would look pretty, but no, I'm going with the safe option. So all you start out by doing is putting the two fabrics right sides together. Let me grab some pins. I'm not as prepared as I thought I was. And I'll just throw in a couple of pins so it doesn't shift when I move it up to the machine. And all you do is sew the short ends. Where's my foot? Where's my foot gone? Honestly, they should make sewing machine feet a brighter colour so that you can see them in the darkness under your table, shouldn't they? When the end seams are done, there's some of this long thread here, you just have to separate the layers and pull them so that the two seam allowances match up. I'm going to nest my seams in here. So my seam allowance heads that way on this side and that way on that side, just to make it all sit nicely. Before I do any sewing, I'm just going to grab a regular pen. This is my lining side. I'm going to make a little mark here and here with an X in it, just to remind myself not to sew in here because you need a turning gap. And then on the right side, I'm going to need a measuring tool of some kind. So this is where it's kind of customizable. You're going to have a little bit of bag puffing out, making a kind of frill above your drawstring. And it looked to me like they probably had a couple of inches doing that on the video I saw. So let's just see how much that leaves me. If I have 2 inches there and then say 3/4 of an inch taken up with the channel, that leaves me about 8 inches of depth. Oh, I don't think they boxed their bottoms. Am I going to box my bottom? Probably not, because then I'll lose some more height. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 inches from the seam line, which is 5 centimeters, and then 3/4 of an inch, which is about 2 centimeters. And the same on the other side. Assume I start at the fold and I go all the way along to here, skip this little part here and all the way to the end on that side. And then if I start on the fold here, I go along, I skip this little gap here, I go along and I skip this bigger gap here, and then go to the end. Okay, I think I have that straight in the head now. Let's do it. I'm at my first mark. I'm going to back stitch, cut my thread, and then I'm going to just jump over to the next mark. Make sure my seam allowance is sitting nice and flat. Do another little back stitch. I have a feeling that it probably would have been a good idea to keep that seam allowance folded back where the drawstring is going to go. But I know what I can do. I've had an idea. This wasn't in the video, but I'm just thinking that with the seam allowances being here, maybe what I'll do is I'll just stick them back. I'm going to go press them back as well. And obviously there's going to be a little bit of stitching from the right side to create the channel. But I think I'm going to anticipate needing to have this folded back on itself like that. So what I've done is I have used a bit of double-sided tape just right here where there's a little hole, and on that side too, and then I have ironed my seam allowances open, which is also going to help me sew up my gap here at the end as well. Now that that's done, I can whip it round to the right side, and then I can sew up this gap here. Right there. Now, in theory, I was going to say you could make this bag reversible, but actually, this method you cannot, because the hole for the drawstring is only in the outer. Never mind. Now what we need to do is push this part inside here, and I'm going to go and iron it again to get a nice crisp edge at the top. Make sure my seam allowance is sitting nice and flat. The top of the bag is looking nice and crisp now. So I'm going to take that part off my machine and put that over the edge, over the free arm, I don't know, and just whack a top stitch around it. Now I'm using a 2.2 stitch right now, so let's just go up to 3.5. Come on. I'm going to put my foot down, lined up with the edge of the fabric, and then move my needle over. As far as it will go, 7, there we are. And I think I'll leave a longer stitch length when I'm doing the drawstring channel as well, just to avoid any potential puckering. I'm going to grab a friction pen because those iron off easily. I'm going to draw a line across. I don't think that ruler is going to be quite big enough. So I think what I'm going to do is make a mark where the stitching finishes. So right there is where that opening stops, and right there. I'll double check my measurement there. It's actually about 1 7/8 and then 3/4. Okay. So in theory then, if I do a line that's 1 3/4 down from the top, no, 1 7/8 down from the top. Focus, Nicola, focus. And then 3/4 of an inch from that. If I can see it. And then the same on the other side. One 7/8. And then 3/4. hopefully the lines will match up on the sides here. Mostly. Good enough. I think that's one of my favourite phrases, isn't it? Good enough. Okay, I now have 2 lines to follow, which is awesome. So all I need to do now is sew around, hoping upon hope that the inside fabric behaves itself and doesn't decide to bunch up anywhere. The stitching looks good. I'm going to go iron this to get rid of my blue lines. Now for a drawstring channel. The scissors are not made for cutting ribbon or anything, are they? They're just, I think they're getting blunt because they're not even cutting my threads very well now. Might have to attempt to sharpen those. And then I've just got to thread this through here. Well, that really was a fast project. I'm impressed. And if you didn't want that much top bit making a ruffle at the top, you could probably go a lot closer to the top with your channel sewing. It is customizable. Having the seam allowances stuck back out of the way helps with this stage as well. Ta-da! That is really, really cute. It doesn't have any batting or interfacing in, so you don't have to worry about that. No boxy bottoms, so that saves time. And no separate piece for the drawstring channel. I love it. What a great little gift bag idea. Perfect. Mr. Stitches has set me a challenge. These old headphones are shedding little bits of black plastic on his head. It's interesting that this side is fine. It's this side that's falling to pieces. So what I want is to make a little elasticated cover for each side so he can carry on wearing them without getting bits all over his skin. I've measured them and they're 4.5 across from here all the way around to the other side and 5 inches from this side to this side because they're oval. And I happen to have in the hoard this old cape that I made for one of the kids as part of a Halloween costume or something a long, long, long time ago. It's still got the drawstring around the top, which I guess I could take off now, couldn't I? Because they're not going to use it for that anymore. Let's just cut that off. And I have now got a nice little cord stopper for another purpose. I think what I'll do is I'll just cut the oval, or 2 ovals, from way down near the bottom. It's a pretty thin, stretchy fabric, which I think will be perfect. And maybe I should just start out by making a template and cutting one and see if it works before cutting both. I have some dollar store placemat, which was almost too nice to cut up really, but too late to worry about that. I need a ruler again. Oh, I'm up and down like a yo-yo here, aren't I? So maybe what I'll start by doing is do a rectangle that's got to allow for some seam allowances. So 4.5 by 5 is what I said. So there's 5. There's 4.5. and then 5 by 4.5. And then I need to round that out so that it's more of an oval shape. I'm going to eyeball a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Is this one going to work or is it not going to work? Because I want to have there we are, a red line so that I know where I'm actually cutting. I maybe should have left more of a seam allowance because I have to make a channel for the elastic. But thankfully I have a lot of this fabric and I have a lot of this template stuff. My chalk pencil had a green lead in it, so I'm just going to go with that and hope it shows up enough. Of course, it's trying to stretch the fabric, something chronic. So this bit of elastic, I do have some black elastic, but it's the really limp stuff that we all were buying for masks way back in 2020. So I'm going to go with this one. It feels a bit stronger. Yeah, I think I should have made this bigger. I just had a revelation. I was doing some tacking or basting, depending on what you call it, because I was going to put some pink thread in it and then sew it by machine. And then hope that I could get the elastic through the channel that I made. And then I suddenly realized, hold on, why don't I just use black thread and put the piece of fabric over the earpiece and then just draw it up and tighten it around the earpiece and not even bother with machine stitching or elastic. So wish me luck, guys, because that's what I'm going to try. Oh, go away, bobbin. I'm doing a running stitch around here. Folding over roughly the amount I left for my seam allowance. And then when I get back to the beginning, I'll take my thread to the right side and see if I can wangle it over the earpiece and make it tight and then finish it off. Fingers crossed this works. Little bits dropping off this as I'm trying to cover it up. You can see why he doesn't want to wear them like this. Well, I think that'll work. It's got something to hold on to, and it is dipping in the middle where the ear goes. Now I just have to try and fasten it off without losing the tension on it. It's not particularly pretty, but it works. And I've tried it on. It feels quite comfortable. So here's the bag that I made. Give you an idea of scale. And that was a lot of fun. So thanks to Jerry for sending me the link to the tutorial for that. Absolutely love these batiks. And I know they're Mr. Stitch's favourite fabric, so you can't go wrong with them, can you, really? They're just so pretty. He's out at the moment, but as soon as he gets back, I'll hand him over and he can start using them straight away. Oh yeah, there was one thing I'm still working on. Let me just grab it. Ah, lost it. I am still working on this mason jar lid. Can you believe it's taken me days and days to get to this point? And I can still see a little bit of the Bernardin writing underneath the red paint. I have done probably 4 coats of red acrylic on there. And it's been drying while I've been chatting to you and sewing those bookmarks this afternoon. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and put the white spots on it before I go up and start thinking about dinner, because it's been hanging around for far too long. I've learned something. Basic acrylic doesn't like to stick to metal. So I'll know better in future. So that's that for today. Thanks so much for being with me. And I hope your December is going well and that you are enjoying some crafting time and not working too hard. Have a great day. Bye for now.